Welcome to a micro INSET on Google Forms for formative assessment. Today, in the next 5 minutes, we're going to cover Google Forms. How are they better than standard worksheets? Also, how can they lead to effective formative assessment? And finally, how to make one and send one to your students. Google Forms are basically online worksheets. They're very, very fast to set up. The good thing about them is that you can send them to students to access directly through their email or to access at home. You don't have to print multiple copies. Once you've made one, you can consistently adapt it if you need to class or year to year. You can set up the form to look however you want, put in whatever pictures you want. It has various question types, including short answer, scales and multiple choice, longer answers, drop-down menus, all of which are fully customizable. What's particularly useful about the Google form is how it can lead to really effective formative assessment. So imagine we've just created this form. This one took about 10 minutes to create. We've sent it to our class and they've completed it for a prep. All the answers come into one place, which looks a bit like this, a spreadsheet. So rather than assessing each candidate horizontally, okay, here's Piers' answer. Rather than simply going through and correcting these and giving feedback to the student on every single answer, we can look at it as a whole class, question by question, and we can compare different types of responses. So a quotation that presents Chris's honesty in Act 1. Students have chosen very, very different quotations here, some of which are really useful in revealing Chris's honesty, some of which are reasonable, and some of which, like this one, are completely irrelevant. So rather than writing on every single student's response whether it's good, mediocre or irrelevant, it's much quicker and more effective use of your time rather than marking laboriously a class out of 21, simply to put this up on the screen and ask them which is the most appropriate quotation, why is it the most appropriate quotation. So marking vertically can be a great time saver and also very useful if you want this to be a formative rather than a summative task, because you're aiming for a larger piece of summative assessment later in the half term. So let's have a look at how all of that is done. First thing you need to do is sign up for Google Drive. So just put the word Drive into Google and create an account if you don't already have one. That will just take a few moments. Once you've got a Drive account, if you click on the Create button, you want to create a form. And this gives you the basic layout for the form, all of which is fully customizable. So you call it whatever you want, you can give it a description if you want to, and here we have add item, and you can add all different types of questions. So like I said, you can have multiple choice, text, paragraphs, checkboxes, lists, scales, grids, dates and times. You can change the order of these around once you've done it, and as soon as this is ready, you click this button up here, Send Form. You've got an option either of just sending your students a link to this form, or you can email it directly to them, in which case they don't actually have to open Google at all. They can simply answer the questions directly through their email account. It looks prettier if they go into Google Drive though, because you get all the pictures. Okay, hopefully that's useful. Give that a go.